Hi, I'm Alex.
And I'm Kris, and you're watching
Thanks, We Hate It with Alex and Kris. Oh, right.
Take another step outside the horror genre.
Yes.
We have decided that today's episode is going to be our top worst Disney movies.
Yep, that's certainly going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of angry people.
It was actually really easy for me.
Oh, I mean, you're definitely way more of a Disney head.
I am.
Than
I do
am.
like Disney.
I guess maybe I'm the minority. I fucking can't stand a lot of Disney.
Say what?
But
Fair.
Hold on.
Fair.
Before I really piss some people off, hold the fuck on. There are quite a few Disney movies that I do enjoy. I'm just not as into the fandom and as into the culture as a lot of other people. I think Walt Disney's a piece of shit. He was very anti-Semitic, and I am Jewish, so that kind of hurts a little,
I can see that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, but don't get me wrong, one of my favorites, I think my favorite animated one is probably Hunchback of Notre Dame, and that's where, that's the number one. So I do like Disney, but I don't. So let's start with that.
Yeah. And let's start with, we both agreed, we never share our lists beforehand, so we don't know what's on each other's list, but we did make some agreements here, and one of them was, look, Song of the South should clearly be on the top of every worst Disney movie list.
That is correct.
But they are properly ashamed of it, and it's just an easy grab, you know?
Yeah, they took accountability, which is really important, because a lot of companies don't. So, good on Disney for that one. Everybody gets one, So, good for them on that one, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a big oopsie.
Let's not ever do that again, Disney.
Right.
Please and thank you. Sincerely, everybody in the fucking world.
Yep.
So,
but otherwise we're open, so it could be live action, it could be cartoon, it could be sequels, whatever. I tended away from the sequels because to me they just are usually bad.
I agree. I totally agree. I have one on my list, but when I was kind of doing a little bit of research, I saw that, there are actually tons of sequels that I never even heard of. And I was like, I feel like that's too easy. So I'm not gonna, there is only one that I did actually see and was horseshit, so obviously. So
these are all movies that I personally just hate. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to.
Not a vibe.
Alright, so what's your number 5?
My number 5 is going to be Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
So, why? And one thing I would like to add to that, why?
Right.
So, I don't personally understand why Disney wanted to make films based off of rides.
Because the Tower of Terror one with Kirsten Dunst was actually, I like that movie.
That's an exception.
I like that movie.
That's an exception because I liked it too. But at least with Tower of Terror, I feel like you could really get some substance with that. Right. And for some, you would think that actually that would be the same thing for Haunted Mansion. You would think, right? Because it's a place. It's scary. Woo! But no. It did not do well. It was not executed well. It was just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It wasn't even silly stupid. It was fucking stupid. Nobody asked for this and nobody needed it.
Right. It was I'm not sure if they had enough child humor, and I'm not sure they had enough adult humor to sell it to either audience, you know? I had way more fun just going on the Haunted Mansion when I was at Disney World than I did watching this movie.
And I think, honestly, as a lot of, I feel like especially Disney movies do, is they try to demonstrate a lot of the newer technology, CGI, things that they can do, and to up the production value. And I can definitely respect that with Haunted Mansion, because there are a lot of effects in there that look great, and things that were done well. But that's really all this was. Was just, look at all this money we have to buy all of these effects. Yeah. Now, here you go.
I know, I go in the stores and I see, the Haunted Mansion toys and the Haunted Mansion Funkos, and they look kind of cool, but then I'm like, but I don't like it.
No.
I don't like it.
It's awful.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I concur.
All right, let's go. Number 1.
My number 5 is Snow White. Boring.
Hell yeah, it is.
And her voice annoys the fuck out of me. She's got a super annoying voice. I'm sorry to whoever the voice actress is. I can't remember. But as a kid, it, like, set my teeth. I hated her voice so much. It was so annoying to me.
Oh, it's, you know, the thing with Snow White is, like, it definitely has its place. You know, it's a classic, like, right in the beginning. But, no, I totally agree. It's just, like, I feel like something like that would be a little more terrifying than how it was. You know, I feel like it was, I mean, obviously, it's a children's film.
Right.
Okay, I fucking know that. But, like, I feel like it could have had a little more spice, you know, on the scarring children for life.
Like, it's just so boring. Like,
yeah.
I remember I was little and my parents got this on VHS and you know, there was some big hubbub about, oh, this is a classic, finally on video.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and the Fox and the Hound. 2 great videos to add to your Christmas wish list.
And I'm sitting there as a kid going, you know, like, I think I jammed out to the Hi-Ho song because that one kind of slaps, but I had nothing else in this movie kept my attention as a child.
I barely
remember
it.
And I do like the Snow White story when told right, because there's this horror version called Snow White, a Tale of Terror. And it stars Monica Keena, and it's got Sigourney Weaver and Sam Neill, and Gil Bellows. And it's a more, like, realistic version.
Spicy.
Yeah, I love that version. That's a great movie.
I
But the Disney version, no thank you at all. Thanks, I hate it.
That's very fair. Snow White is boring as fuck. All right. Are we on number 2? Or
no, number 4.
Why the fuck am I starting? Listen.
We don't do numbers here, all right?
Number 4. All right, I guess I'm just gonna... Pocahontas 2.
Yeah, okay.
What?
How is this still a thing?
Again, nobody fucking asked for this. Nobody asked for the white dude to basically gentrify Native Americans and take their fucking land. For Pocahontas to go back to England.
Right. Well, that's what really happened.
Of course. And that's the thing. It's like, I mean, we all know that's what happened. I just don't want to see it in a kid's film because that's fucked up. You know, like, that's not a vibe at all. You know, I mean, that time is terrible.
Was it Disney that did that Columbus movie cartoon?
A man set sail 500 years ago. Christopher Columbus was his name. As a boy he always knew a sailor he would be, so he studied the law of the sea.
There was a movie about Christopher Columbus. And it was a cartoon, and I can't remember if it was Disney or someone else. I don't even remember the name of it. I remember when it came out, I already was at the age where I was like, well, that story's bullshit, so I don't need to see that. But that's what I've classified the Pocahontas movies in, is like it's those cartoons where they're trying to, like, sanitize history.
Yes. And whitewash it and water it down.
Make it palatable for kids. I don't know. But you tell kids the wrong story, and then they learn the right story later, like in my case, and it just makes me mad that you like, why did I have to learn this bullshit story? Just teach me the truth.
Exactly. Can't do that, though.
But Pocahontas 2 is bullshit, because I don't even think, other than her going to England with that Rolf guy, I don't think it's otherwise historically accurate.
No, and just not needed. Nobody asked for this. No. Stop it.
I agree.
Oh, and then, you know, of course, in the first, you know, honestly, it sets the precedence. In the first Pocahontas, when the chief was like, you know, these white men are dangerous.
Truth.
Come here. It's true.
It's very true.
Like, so it's like, I think that sets the precedence for the tone for the rest of the film. It's like, that's all I need to know. Thank you. Because it's absolutely true. So, we've got your number 4.
My number 4 is Pinocchio. Also because it's boring, but also because it's horrifying at the same time.
Oh, yes.
Like, this movie introduced me to the subgenre of body horror long before any horror movie that I was shown.
Absolutely.
What is that island with the donkeys, you guys? Like, what is that?
What is that, like Pleasure Island or
Pleasure
some shit
Island.
like that?
Like, I don't know.
Weird.
No, thank you. That was not okay, and
Oh man.
the suspension of disbelief with Geppetto and the whale too. Like, I understand there's some suspension of disbelief in Disney movies, in most movies.
Of course.
But even as a kid going to Catholic school, when they were trying to tell me about Jonah and the whale, I was like, bullshit. Like, but
Like, that didn't happen.
So
This is
even-
allegorical.
right, even as a kid, I just could not accept that Geppetto lived in this goddamn whale. The cat's cool. I like Figaro the cat. Here's a probably really unpopular opinion. Jiminy Cricket kind of annoys me.
Why, you young hoodlum, I'll knock your block off.
Shake harder, boy!
My conscience. I don't need you. Get away from
Right?
me.
I remember, I actually remember seeing, they did a live action remake of Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Pinocchio, remember, you can't become a real boy if you keep doing bad things.
Getting rid of David would be a good thing. The same way punishing that bitch at school was a good thing.
The one I remember, like, distinctly...
JTT?
Thank you,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Was that also the one that Drew Carey in it? Or was that a different one?
I don't think Drew Carey was
Maybe
in that
he
one.
I think the one he was in was Geppetto or something.
That sounds
But yeah,
more
JTT
accurate.
was definitely in a Pinocchio movie.
Bruh, and I gotta be real, like, that movie terrified me.
Right.
I was so fucking scared when they were at the island and they were turning into the donkeys. The effects were so good and so realistic. I was terrified. I was sitting there like on the verge of crying because I was like, I can't fucking watch this anymore. Which is probably why I remember it so fondly, is because it was, very much horror related, and I was like, oh, and then I remember watching it like a couple extra times, and I actually like really like the live action remake. I don't like the old one at all, but the one with JTT is
the cartoon
fucking awesome.
one is bullshit.
I
haven't seen the cartoon one in decades. Like, no reason to.
Yeah.
My friends' kids who I used to watch all the time, I would show them all kinds of old movies. But there were certain ones that I was just like, even I can't sit through it even to give you a film education. I'm sorry. I just can't.
Just avoid it.
So that was one we skipped in the Disney library. All right, so
Okay.
number 3?
We are on number 3 now. We are on number 3. I am going to go with Inspector Gadget.
Oh.
Wowzers!
Matthew Broderick. Okay, and I want to preface this. I love Matthew Broderick. I think he's actually a really great actor, and I love almost anything he's been in. The Producers is awesome. He is so talented, and I think he was honestly, perfect for like a shitty movie like that because he could ham it up.
He was better than French Stewart.
Wowzers!
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Yes, if you want to split hairs, Kris, yes.
I like Inspector Gadget, so I feel like I have to defend it.
I don't know. For some reason, it felt too kitschy to me, and it felt too gimmicky.
I think that's why I liked it, because I was a fan of the cartoon. So I watched the cartoon, and then when the movie came out, I was one of those kids that I liked the wink, wink, nudge, nudge they were giving me. Like, here's...
Oh, sure.
And I do like Michelle Trachtenberg. Like, as a kid, I was a huge fan of Michelle Trachtenberg
Oh,
from
yeah, she's
Adventures of
great.
Pete and Pete and all that stuff.
Harriet the Spy.
Harriet the Spy's
Fuck
the
yes.
shit.
I love Harriet the Spy. That's like one of my
Spy.
favorites.
Right, I
Yes.
love Harriet the Spy. But... we're not talking about Nickelodeon. We could do a worst Nickelodeon show. Oh my god.
Can we
totally
do? Oh
should.
my god.
Okay,
I was
so-
more of a Nick kid than anything. Okay.
Same. Okay, so we're gonna do that. But okay, anyway, back to Disney. But yeah, so it was an okay movie for me because I was a fan of the cartoon.
Yeah. I mean, and that's fair, and live action remakes like that, like they deserve to kind of give a little, wink to,
Right.
and a little, pay homage to, where it originally started. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. I love seeing that.
Oh yeah, I'm in my nostalgia feels. I'm sure it's a bad movie. I'm just in my nostalgia feels.
And
that's all.
that also makes a huge difference too, is that if you feel more nostalgia towards something, of course you're gonna like it more, so and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I just felt like it was almost like a little bit too much of a nudge, too gimmicky. I thought it was overdone a little, and I
can see that.
wasn't really a fan. So
No, I can see that. fair.
all right, number 3 for you. Let's
Number
go.
3 for me. Fucking 101 Dalmatians. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I still haven't seen the new Cruella movie because I don't want a redemption arc for a puppy killer. But having
That's true.
heard what people have said it is, I may give it a shot. But yeah, that's my whole thing. Like, I don't want to watch this woman. Her whole thing is she literally kidnaps puppies to kill them, skin them, and make them into coats. Like, PETA did not need to get to me about not wearing fur. This movie was the best ad anti-fur ad for me ever.
Yeah.
But what pisses me off most about this movie, think about it. Other movies, Ursula gets stabbed with a ship. Clayton gets, strangled with a vine and hung. Gaston gets thrown off a tower. What does Cruella de Vil get? She skids off the road into a snowbank. It's been forever since I've seen the movie, but I don't even think we get to see her get arrested.
Boo.
Like, are you kidding me?
No accountability.
No accountability for the puppy killer? Like, Gaston didn't even kill anyone. And the beast that he was trying to kill, he didn't know was a secret prince. Like, he thought he was killing a monster. Like, he's not good. I'm not pro-Gaston. I'm just pointing out that he didn't actually have any blood on his hands.
Right.
But this woman, already wearing a coat, clearly killed some kind of animal for it. And had kidnapped all these puppies. She was like, no, thank you.
Like, she's wearing the evidence that she is a garbage person.
And I never saw the one with Glenn Close either, because obvious reasons. And so I don't know if in there they change it and at the end she gets more of a comeuppance. But I'm sorry, as a kid, this movie upset my sense of justice. Like,
of course, yes.
So no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see and agree with that. Yeah, no. Animal cruelty sucks, guys.
Yep,
Don't do it.
No, not here for it.
Not
The
a vibe.
puppies were cute, but that's all it had going for it. Like, that's all. No,
I get it.
I don't like it.
Are we at number 2 already?
Are we? Yeah, we are.
Wow. Holy moly. Okay. I am gonna go... What the fuck is Teen Beach Movie? Can I talk about this really quick? Hold on. Okay, so I would like to start. So the whole trend, right, with beach movies
Over the 60s.
Yep, started in the 60s. That's when kind of like beach bum culture was starting to really gain traction. And it was really popular around that time. So a lot of movies were made and they were kind of circulated through a lot of grindhouses. So they're definitely a very grindhouse staple, if you will. So they do have their place in film history, absolutely.
Frankie and Annette.
but why? This isn't fun. Like, and I know it's like it's so funny because like a lot of the older beach movies, like the weird ones have like a lot of like silent film stars.
Have you seen Psycho Beach Party?
No.
Oh my god, it's such a good movie. Nicholas Brendan's in it, and a whole bunch of people, but it's really great. It's like a spoof of beach movies, but it's a horror genre.
All right.
Yeah. Oh my god,
Okay.
I'm gonna lend you that movie because it's
You
really
really
good.
should. 'Cause
Psycho
I'm
Beach
down.
Party. It's a dark comedy, basically.
Psycho Beach Party. I'm gonna have to definitely.
It's a dark comedy. Anyway, moving. I had to bring that up. Sorry. It's the only good beach movie I like.
I just think like Disney had to have known. You know what I'm saying? You had to have known.
The subtext?
Right, the subtext and where these films came from.
They hit the more, I would say, mainstream points in this movie, the beach blanket bingo movies.
Yep.
Instead of the more grindhouse. Like, that's the way they went. They went Frankie and Annette rather than...
Almost like they went the, we just want the aesthetic and the production value of a teen beach movie. But we're not gonna, actually include a lot of the content.
And that one also has, like, time travel and shit, doesn't it? That one came out after I was already past the Disney Channel movie age when this came out, so...
I mean, to be fair, I was too.
Alright, so my number 2 is Pocahontas.
Okay.
And it's a lot to unpack with this one. The songs do slap, okay? Color of the Wind is my jam. I love Colors of the Wind.
That's a great song.
And also, Miko and Flit Flit, I love them.
Oh, Miko
so
was
cute.
classic.
So cute.
I love
And so
Miko.
funny. Love them. But... Again, by the time this movie came out, I was already aware of the real story of Pocahontas. So I'm really glad that they didn't make her look 13. That's cool.
That's hella cool.
That's
Thank you, Disney.
good call. But yeah, the rest of it, I'm just sitting there watching this, like, going, this is bullshit.
Yeah,
I was not
sure
the audience
is.
for this movie. I was too old when this movie came out because I already knew the real story.
I was young, so I did not know.
Yeah. 95, so I was 10.
Yeah, I was 1, so of course I didn't see Pocahontas probably until like at least 98 or 99. So yeah, and of course at that point, I mean, like, they don't teach us that shit that early, and I'm going to be honest with you, up until, I want to say, like, maybe end of high school, even out of high school, is when I really found out, like, oh shit, like, I've been fucking lied to my whole life. I swear to God. Like, I mean, we were told completely different things.
See, I had some cool
It
teachers,
was
some
weird.
cool history teachers, especially in high school, who were just like, okay, let's be real here.
Like, there was a lot of
So I got
genocide.
lucky, and I did have some cool history, because some teachers will just stick to what's in the material and stuff, and luckily I got some history teachers that were like, okay, well, here's what they say happened, here's what
Right.
kind of really happened.
I remember too, so yeah, okay, it had to have been high school then when I finally first realized, because there was a unit that we did in history, or I think it was like modern problem, I can't remember which class, but they played a movie about like all of the schools that they would send young Native Americans to kind of convert them to like Christianity, and yeah, that was, I mean, honestly, yeah, that was a thing, and I remember, watching this movie and just being like so fucking heartbroken, and
It sucks to learn the truth about
yeah,
things.
it was devastating, and I was like, this is not, like, I had that moment of like, this is not what we were fucking taught.
No.
Like, this is...
It just makes you angry to find out.
Right, it's this is so fucking shitty, and it's just, ever since then, it's like,
Yeah.
wow, and again, I was in high school. It should have not have taken that late in life to know that. Like, and in a sense, I feel ashamed. I feel a little ashamed not knowing it, but to be fair, I wasn't told.
Right,
So-
and nowadays, like back then, we didn't have the internet and Google, or if we had a question, we could just get it answered right away.
Right.
So if
We
our
didn't have a
parents
fucking
didn't
library.
know, or didn't want us to know something, teachers didn't want it, then we didn't know, So it took a lot more effort
Yes.
to look things up.
It really did.
And when you're a kid, you're not putting in that effort. You're like, okay, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Pocahontas was, yeah, we got it. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go play on Nintendo now? Like, it's all,
I have a Capri Sun.
But I think what bothers me most about Pocahontas is that it tries to make history palatable, and it does kind of introduce conflict, but it doesn't quite understand the conflict it is introducing. Like the whole thing with what's his face, the warrior getting shot, and then that's why John Smith is getting persecuted or whatever.
Yes.
And it's like, well, that's a really complicated situation. It's not just, well, he shot him, so he needs,
Right,
like there's
right.
a lot of other factors.
Well, and the way, especially with the way they portrayed John Smith,
Right.
I mean, they portrayed him as a protagonist.
Yeah.
So of course they're gonna make him likable and they're gonna make him relatable.
Which I think it would have been a more interesting movie if he was an antagonist. But
Absolutely. So, but you're absolutely right. It's like there's a lot more to that than just,
Right.
oh no, they're
They
killing
set-
the bad guy.
yeah, they
Like,
set
no,
him
he
up
is-
as he's the good guy, and the
Right.
warrior, I can't remember his name, but the warrior that he shot was the bad guy, because he was, and it's like, no, dude, like, you're the invader, you're the one, like,
Yeah.
it's just really more complicated than that,
And I even remember
It's super complicated.
Right, and I remember those feelings as a child, when I'm watching the movie, where I'm like, oh man, the enemy is, I think his name is Running Bear, and the, the enemy is, this Native American warrior, like, oh my god, because John Smith was so nice and so good, and of course now as an adult, I'm like, wow.
Right.
No.
like
no.
no.
The white men in this movie are clearly antagonists, you know.
Right.
Just they're clearly not good people.
Just because the bad guy was drawn to be ugly and stuff doesn't mean the good-looking white guys are any better.
And that's what they were trying.
Colonizers.
Exactly. And that's what they were. I feel like that Disney was trying to church it up as.
Right.
You know, and that's kind of fucked up.
So that's why Pocahontas, like, I just have my issues with it, but I will forever love Colors of the Wind.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a great song.
Absolutely. That doesn't have anything to do with
racism,
you know, so there's a plus there,
I just
you know.
really like that song. It slaps.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, number 1.
Wow, are we there?
We're here. We've arrived.
I'm gonna piss.
It is a moment.
I'm gonna piss a lot of people
Do
off.
it!
Here. Fuck you, Frozen.
Oh.
Fuck you. You know what? I would have not hated this fucking movie so much if it wasn't so commercialized and promoted. And I mean, it just exploded. And I remember like there was just like a period of time where it's like everywhere I fucking turned was that stupid ass song, or, you know, the fucking characters, like a toy, you know, it's just, or memes, or, you know, like shit that you would fucking see on the internet. It's like, okay, we get it. It's a newer Disney film. Okay,
At
you know.
least they made it okay. Anna's ridiculous for falling in love with the first man she sees. Like that's a good lesson. That's a good lesson. To in the end, okay, the fact that she just fell for this guy, not good. But in the end, they make the lesson is that, hey, maybe don't just fall for the first guy who tells you you're pretty, you know? Like,
yeah, because, I mean, he ended up being the, you know, antagonist. So
right.
It's... I think,
don't like the
honestly,
movie either.
Yeah, I think, honestly, it's the over-commercialization of it that really fucking turned me off. Like, if it wasn't as promoted as it was, I'd probably be like, yeah, it was okay. You know, I mean, nothing special. But because of how much I fucking saw everything for Frozen, I have such a distaste and a hatred for this movie. Where it's just, I
feel like it overshadowed the more superior movie, which was Zootopia.
Hell yeah.
Like, I think they came out around the same time. Mm-hmm. And I remember, like, why is everything about Frozen when Zootopia is fucking amazing? Like, I love Zootopia, but I've seen Frozen so many times because it's popular with the kids. The kids that I used to watch. And I used to watch 3-4 boys and 1 girl. And they all loved Frozen. Because I'm sure our parents had asked the same questions about some of the stuff. We were like, rewind it and play it again, you know? Like
that's fair, yeah.
So I think that's just a kid thing, where once they find something they like, they're just gonna, again. They're
gonna obsess over it. And
I've also seen Cars 50 million times, so, I mean, and I
can definitely, I obviously
I feel like I got
that,
Stockholm Syndrome with that one, because after, like, 50 or 60 times, I was like, I like Cars.
Subliminal messaging.
Right. So
it's like, I hate this movie.
I must not have watched Frozen enough to get to the other side where it's like, I like Frozen.
Yeah, like I said, with the over-commercial, I feel like it was over-commercialized for what it was. Yeah. Like, to me, it was just, like, another Disney movie. The real Snow Queen from Hans Christian Andersen is a way better story. Yes.
I think it would have been interesting if they had gone ahead and explored what their original idea was, which was Elsa was the bad guy. Mm-hmm. Which is what the original Snow Queen is. Like, that's the story they're basing it off of, is the Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen. I think it was Hans Christian Andersen, but whatever.
I think so.
I read it years ago. And I think that would have been more interesting story than what they came up with.
Well, now they know.
Fuck you. Like, just fuck off forever. I'd be so happy if I never, ever, ever, ever saw anything Frozen related again.
I still haven't seen Frozen 2, because I stopped babysitting the kids, so I don't have to see every Disney movie anymore, just the ones I want to see. So, I still have not seen Frozen 2.
Alright, let's go!
Fuck Fox and the Hound.
Ooh! Ooh,
yep.
Tell me why.
Yep. Oh, I will.
I've never seen Fox and the Hound either.
You don't need to. Okay,
Great.
So it's based off a book, and I will give Disney this. They did make it better than the book, because, oh my god, fuck that book. The author of that book hates children, foxes, dogs, and just life in general. Like, fuck that book. Don't ever read The Fox and the Hound. Ever. Do not recommended. The movie, at least is not brutally honest about the natural world. But the cartoon, what the fuck is the message here, okay? Todd the fox, in the end, is not allowed to be friends with Copper the hunting dog. He's also, Todd, not allowed to be friends with the widow who had been taking care of him his entire life. So what the fuck is the message here? That if you are too different, you're just not allowed to be friends? The fuck?
Yeah, that's a really shitty lesson.
This movie made me cry as a kid. It came out in 1981, so I didn't see it until years after it came out, clearly. But I saw it probably when I was around 4 or 5. 4 or 5. I had already seen Halloween. Fox and the Hound made me cry. I was so mad at this movie as a kid. I don't think I've seen it again. I honestly, it might have been a one and done for me because I was so mad. I remember as a child just having this anger for this movie. And it was the whole movie. You're watching little baby fox meets little baby dog and their friends, Todd and Copper and their friends, and they're, grow up together. And then they, there's a widow lady who she's taking care of Todd because I guess he got orphaned or something, and he's the fox. And her neighbor down the street is the one that owns Copper. Mm-hmm. And so that's how they met, and then they're playing. And then when they get older, Copper is taken on hunts and is hunting foxes. And so now they're enemies and they can't be friends because he's a fox and he hunts foxes. And there's a part where Copper actually chases down Todd and corners him, and he's like, argh, and then something happens. I've seen this once, maybe twice, but something happens and the hunter wants to shoot Todd, and Copper does kind of come out and protect him and, don't shoot him. And for a minute there, you're thinking, okay, well, the hunter's just going to shoot his dog and the fox. But no, the hunter walks away with Copper and Todd's allowed. But now it's clear they can't be friends ever again. Their friendship's just done. Mm-hmm. That you spent the whole movie getting invested in. And then the old widow is like, well, you're old enough now, Todd. You got to go out into the world and find a female fox and have your family. So she just drops him off in the middle of the fucking road. And a person, I know it's a fox. I know it's a wild animal. But she had raised this fox since it was a baby. Who even can say that he can survive in the woods? First of all.
Probably can't.
Second of all, the scene was very much like when someone abandons their dog. Because she does. She just opens the door. He gets out, I think, thinking that they're doing something or whatever. And then she just starts driving away. And it's like...
That's terrifying. And kind of to kind of pedal back with horror and Disney kind of being, you sure this isn't a horror movie type of thing? I remember seeing this great interview with Stephen King where, the interviewer is like, what's the most terrifying movie you've ever seen? Something that scarred you for life. This dude said Bambi. Well, because the mom dies. The mom dies at the beginning.
That could have easily gone on my list too. Fuck Bambi.
Yeah, I actually almost did. I almost put Bambi on my list because of the first scene. But I thought that was such an interesting response. And really, if you think about it, Disney movies, they can have more impact as as horror to
Fox
these
and
kids.
the Hound. Fox and the Hound scarred me more than any horror movie my father showed me as a child. No. It makes me sad just thinking about poor Todd. Poor Todd.
Well, I think the thing with Disney, too, is it kind of, you look at, Fox and the Hound and Bambi, it really does, it's going to shed the light on, things that do happen.
Right.
To animals especially.
But I don't want to see it. I know it happens.
Exactly.
I don't want to see it.
Exactly. It's but, why would you try to cater that towards kids? I know, you know what I mean? I know that it's an important lesson, but let's not do that through a movie. Let's just do that.
Yeah, talk to your own damn kids about death and shit.
Do that on a personal level because not everybody is gonna gel well with a movie in the way of grieving. So that's something very personal and individual. So
Yep.
I wouldn't recommend doing that, but then again, what the fuck do I know?
I don't know. All I know is The Fox and the Hound is one of those movies that put me on the road to being the cynical, depressed, cold-hearted adult that I am now. So thanks, Disney.
I love
Like,
this, Kris.
Thanks, Disney. I'm very bubbly on the outside, but I am very much dead on the inside.
I love it. I love it. It's the only way to be.
All right.
Okay. Wow. That was
Fun.
That was intense.
It's fun.
I feel great.
I
feel
love
good.
bitching about. I just like bitching about things. I really do.
It's great. It's great. A release of energy. You know,
Right.
it's therapeutic.
It is therapeutic.
Okay. Well, that wraps her up, kids.
Yeah, that's about it for us. All right, so stay tuned. Next week, our episode, we will be returning to horror. We will be talking about the worst decisions made by characters in horror movies.
I cannot wait.
I can't talk.
Oh, it's okay.
It's fine.
It's
fine. We're almost done with this video. It's fine.
Fuck it. We're at the end.
We're at the end. It's fine. So make sure you like and subscribe. Ring the bell so that you get notifications every time we have new videos up.
Please do.
Check out some of the other videos on our channel. And have a good night, good fright.
This year, the best gifts to get are 2 Disney classics on video. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the movie you've been waiting for, is the Christmas gift you'll be wishing for. Plus, The Fox and the Hound, 2 wonderful friends.
Run, go, run!
In a Disney adventure full of fun and friendship. But this is the only Christmas these 2 classics will be available.
That's the part you gotta worry about.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and The Fox and the Hound. 2 great videos to add to your Christmas wish list. Rated G.